It's an exciting day for 80 proof goods. I've got a new machine coming. Cleared out a spot for it right here next to the sewing machine. I ordered a Bell Skiver from Tandy. It's a Leather Machine Co. NP4 Bell Skiver, and I'm gonna unbox it, so let's get to it. It's a freight shipment, so it's heavy. I think it's like 270 pounds, but there's a couple of different pieces, so yeah, slow and steady wins the race. Alright, so there's 3 boxes. Well, 2 boxes, I suppose, in the big stand with the pedal. This guy here, I believe, there's a hole in it so I can see. These are just casters, so just the wheels for the base. And then I suspect the bigger box down there is going to be the actual Bell Skiver. So I'm going to start tearing these things apart, put the wheels on this thing so I can roll it, and it matches perfectly to my Cobra Class 26 sewing machine, so it'll kind of fit right in. So, big base is done. I got the casters on, all the cardboard is off. The servo motor down here, she's a little wonky, so I gotta bolt that down somehow. We'll see when we get there. Pedals are already intact. I don't have to put that together. Yeah, so next up is this guy. So we got the oil, lubricant. Looks like we got a pretty long screwdriver. Some kind of doohickey, John. I don't know what that is. What do you think that thing is there, huh? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Screws and a belt. Okay, so here, check this out. This was already skived. This is a piece of leather. Obviously, when they used this machine and they put this machine together, they tested it and included their test samples. But you can see that's exactly what it does. Skives off that leather so you can easily fold it or stack them or whatever. It looks like there's a couple different, I don't know, depth of skiving here. This is, whew, really took this edge down. This edge is like non-existent. But yeah, let's keep going. I feel like I'm getting served documents here. What the f is this? Just chalk. It's like a wooden sheath and chalk, I think. All right. That's the bulk of it right there. That's the skiver. God damn, that's heavy. Alright, so here you can see I have the Bell Skiver mounted on the table here, or just at least placed on the table. And you can see these hinges that we have to screw them down into. And you can see the 2 little pilot holes there. This is the only hiccup that I've run into. So this side, the pilot holes match, the holes do not line up. So they're a little off over here, so I'm gonna have to punch some new pilot holes in there. Not that big of a deal at all, really. Just like one notable thing. So far, everything's been perfect, except for these little holes that don't line up, but that's okay. I've got my center punch. I'm just gonna re-punch those pilot holes. Holes line up. Holes line up. Let's do it. so we've got this screwed in. You just saw me attach those hinges to the actual desk itself. Now that those are screwed in, we can do this cool thing. Just tilt it all the way back, and it leans back on the table. The hinges keep it in place on the table. So you have access to all the internals. We have another drive belt on the inside. That one's already pre-installed. All this is all put together. We don't have to do anything. You can see the knife. This is the knife here. And then there's the grindstone on the inside as well that I believe actually grips your leather and pulls it through, allowing the knife to cut the leather essentially and skive. The drive belt attaches to this pulley here, and that will go all the way down through the slot into the servo motor, which is underneath. But we want to get this cover plate off because we want to slide the belt over this and then down there, but obviously this is kind of in the way. And what's interesting is there's this little thumb screw that has like a little clamp to it. So this isn't actually screwed on, it's just basically clamped into place. So you just pop this guy off. I mean, it comes off. It's super, I guess like kind of elementary. Like I would expect this to kind of be screwed on, but it's not. What actually has to happen now is we've got the belt off. We need to put this guy in there. This bolt is basically going to hold the motor up in place. So I'm going to take this nut, I'm going to feed it all the way up there. Slide a washer on there, the motor behind the washer, follow that up with a washer and a split washer, and then finally the nut. Now I'm going to assume the goal here is to keep this sort of level. So that's where I'm going to put these two down. Essentially what you just saw me do is exactly that. So we've got our servo motor down here. And then if you look closely, you can see it mounted up with that bolt there, along with a couple of nuts. Tension off, I've got my belt here. This is going to go over the pulley on the motor. All right, so now that we have that on our servo motor, we can now push basically this belt from here to the next one. Make sure it's still on your pulley underneath. When you push this guy down, it's going to put the tension on the belt so that when this moves, your pulley here is moving, and that's going to move the shaft inside. This is going to move the shaft inside. Everything's moving freely, and that's not coming off. This guy, slide it back on over. All right, so I think we're ready to plug it in. Everything looks set up. Now, obviously, there might be some adjustments we need to make, but at this point, we just have our cable to plug it in here, and it comes really nice and neat. So I'm just going to unwrap this and get it plugged in. All right, so it's plugged in. So the first thing I think I want to do is just lift up the presser foot, which is this lever up top. So we're going to lift up the presser foot. You can see it kind of lift up right here. And I think we're just going to hit the pedal, make sure it runs. Amazing. So you can see this is the knife. The knife blade is the edge there, and underneath that is the grindstone that grips your leather, pulls it through, and the knife hits it. So that's what we're getting with this, and it looks like it's ready to go. I've never tried this before, it's gonna be my first time, but you guys are gonna witness it with me. So I've got a piece of walnut Minerva here. This is a full grain leather that I work with pretty often, and I'm gonna do it. So let's get in there. Whew. Okay, it works. It works really fast. Obviously that was pretty crooked, so I gotta work on my steady hand, making sure I hold it steady. All right, so I've been trying it for the past couple of minutes, and it works. I mean, look at this thing. This is shaved. You can really clearly see, this is 5.5 ounce leather. The machine claims to do up to 5 ounces of leather for veg tans. This is a chrome tan, so I think you get a little bit more leeway with this. So this is a little bit thicker than it claims to be able to handle with a veg tan. So chrome tans, you can go a little bit further, but you can see, I mean, it is clearly working. And I'll show you guys again here. I've got a green or an olive green Minerva. This is a 3.5 ounce veg tan leather. So I'm gonna lift this up. You basically just butt it up against the knife and clamp down so it holds it in place. And you can go as slow or as fast as you want on the pedal. I'm gonna go really slow. Boom. So it looks like it does leave a little line there from the foot that actually is pulling it through. But on the back side, boom, shaved. That's ready to be folded. I mean, you can really just stitch this down, and there's just no bulk. This is beautiful. This is really cool.